am Kendall Bonner, and I am a broker associate and team leader at eXp Realty. And I wanted to talk to you about probably one of the most common questions and searches that I've seen online, which is how to get your real estate license in Florida. I feel like there's so much information out there, but yet it's not aggregated. It's not all put together in a neat, nice little package for you. So I figured I would talk you through what those steps are to getting your real estate license in Florida, and then also tell you, a little bit about each of those different things, give you a little bit more detail so that you can go and be successful as a real estate professional here in Tampa or anywhere in the state of Florida. So first up, I want to tell you the 7 steps to getting your real estate license in Florida. And it starts with step 1, start the application with the state. That is this first step. I find most people go out of order, and I really do believe this is step 1. So you get your application started, and that is by going to the website for DBPR, which is the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. And the website is myfloridalicense.com. I'll put a link down in the description below so that you can go there directly, because there's lots of licenses you can get from DBPR, but the one you're specifically looking for is from the Real Estate Commission. Now, when you do an application for your real estate license, there is a fee. I will tell you, at the time of this video, I believe it's under $70 for an application for a sales associate license. I believe it's $62.50 specifically, and about $70 to upgrade to a broker or broker associate. But I will tell you, this video is going to be online forever, and so that number could change. So I would plan for it to cost you, anywhere from $100 to a couple of $100 for that application process, because it's not just the application you're paying for. You do also have to pay for fingerprinting. You're paying for the exam, things like that. So also note that having a real estate license has to be renewed. It is renewed every 2 years. And that too is about $70 or less currently at the time of recording this video. Now, in order to get your real estate license, you need to meet a certain level of criteria. And number 1, you have to be at least 18 years old or older. You need to have a social security number, and you need to have a high school diploma or GED or equivalent, right? So those are your minimum requirements to get your real estate license. Also, now you do need to get fingerprinted. I just mentioned this. Even if you've been fingerprinted before for some other license, you will still have to do it again for this license. For me, for example, I'm a Florida licensed attorney. I did fingerprinting just to get my Florida legal license, right? Then I had to do it again to get my real estate license. And then I had to do it again when I got my broker's license. So even though, you and I both know my fingerprints are on file, they still needed it each time with each application. It's just part of their background check that they do. Now, one of the FAQs is, can you check your status online? Yes. While the system is a little antiquated, in my opinion, because not everything can be done online with my Florida license, but you can check your status there. So once you get going, it will, as the state receives your information and they get a chance to review and update it, they will notate the status online, and you can check by searching your name, and you'll be able to see where you're at in the process. Now, another little quick note here for those of you that are getting licensed, where you were licensed in another state. Florida does have what we call mutual recognition agreements, and that's with 10 states currently from my research online, and that is Alabama, Arkansas, Connecticut, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Mississippi, Nebraska, Rhode Island, and West Virginia. Now, what does mutual recognition mean? Well, this allows sales associates or brokers that are applying from their current state over to Florida. It exempts them from the pre-license education, so that saves you some time. And they're only required to take a 40-question Florida laws section of the state exam. So it allows you to fast track if you're already licensed in another state, specifically one of those other 10 states. If you're coming from a state outside of that, I really don't know what the rules are there, to be honest. I would recommend you reach out to the state to see if there is anything that you can do to expedite your licensing requirements. Now, once you apply with the state, step 2 is you have to find a real estate school. Now, there's tons of schools out there. They have online schools. We have in-person training as well. So it really just depends on how you learn. I know for some people, if they're going to be tested on material, they like to go to a class and be in person, take notes, be able to engage and ask questions. And that's perfectly acceptable. And tons of schools are really good and are local in your local area that you can attend and go to that training live and in person. And then there's some of us like myself who I'd rather do it online. It was easier for my schedule. I was able to do it, at odd times. Like for me, I would get up at 5 a.m. to do some of my training online. So that way I could still continue the rest of my professional day and my day job at that point, which was at that time selling real estate. I do have an affiliate link for a real estate school here in Florida that you're more than welcome to use and get a discount. It has links out to both online and live training. So whatever's convenient for you, or of course you can do your homework and select the school of your choice. Now, I chose to do Real Estate Express, which was a school I did online. And that really worked for me. Like I said earlier, I'm self-disciplined. And so I knew what I need to do. I had a timeline for myself. And so I was able to knock out the training from home on my computer, get it done, go in and take the exam and move forward there. Now, to get your sales associate license, you need to do pre-licensing class, and that is 63 hours. Yes, I said that right. 63 hours. All right. And you must pass the class exam before you can take the state exam. That's really important for you to know. So take that class exam seriously. You do not want to fail that because it does prevent you from taking the state exam until you pass that. Now, after you get your license, you will also have what we call a post-licensing course that you have to take, and that is 45 hours. Again, 45 hours. Now, here's my best practice pro tip for the post-licensing class. Number 1, bundle it and save. When you get your pre-licensing class, you get the choice to bundle all your trainings in one package with the school. Highly recommend you do that. It's just easier if you bundle it because the reality is when you do one, you have to do the other. All right. For those of you afraid that you might not pass the exam, I understand you might be a little nervous about spending a little extra money, but don't manifest negativity, manifest positivity, and that you will pass the exam, right? So number 1, bundle your purchase. Number 2, take it right away. Right after you take the state exam and you pass it, do not wait to start the post-licensing course. So many of you I know are going to feel like, man, I just got out of training. I just want to get started, but I'm going to tell you it's a mistake. Don't do what I did. I waited till the last minute because you get about 18 months to complete the post-licensing training. And honestly, by the time I went to go do it, I had butted myself up against, like I said, I'm a lawyer, so I had my continuing legal education. I had to do 30 hours of that. I had to do this post-licensing education. Plus I was a full-time real estate professional working, 50, 60 hours a week. So again, that's why I had to get up at 5 a.m. just to do the online coursework because I was working full-time during the day as a real estate professional. So take it early on before things get busy, before you forget. It's also similar material to what you learned on the pre-licensing. And honestly, I'm not telling you you're not going to ever use that material again, but it's not going to be quite as critical in other words, I should say, you're going to learn so much more that's going to add to that it'll just be okay to get it done right away. That's my pro tip. That's my best advice. Obviously, you're going to do what you want to do. Okay. I know that, you know that. But if I could give you some advice, it would be get that out of the way within 30 to 90 days after passing your exam. Just get it done. Now, the last bit of education that you have to do as a part of having a real estate license is continuing education. To maintain your real estate license, you need to keep 14 hours of continuing education every 2 years when you renew your license. So your license does renew every 2 years. That does cost you money, and that does cost you education. So that will be a part of your ongoing maintenance of your real estate license. All right. Then step 3 in this process, after you've gone through the state and done the application, you've done your fingerprinting, you've done the pre-licensing coursework, guess what? Next step is taking the exam, right? And here's where you pass it. Now, I'm not aware of the name of this YouTube video, but I've been told by several people now that there's a really great YouTube video that you can find that's really good at helping you pass the state exam. I'm going to find that for you by the time I post this video online, and I'm going to stick it in the section below in the description box so that after you finish reading this or watching this video, you can go watch that one so that we can make sure that you pass your state exam. Now, what happens after you pass the exam and now you have a license? Because they do let you know right away, if you pass the exam, you walk out of the testing site at Pearson VUE knowing you are a licensee. So congratulations at this point. So next step is you've got to pick a brokerage or a team to affiliate with. According to Florida statute 475, every single sales associate must be affiliated with a brokerage in order to sell real estate, right? So this means you have to select a brokerage / a broker of record, right? So this is the company that you're going to affiliate with and work with, all right? Now, most offices and companies are independently owned and operated. So what does that mean? That means you have a lot of choices, okay? A ton, like hundreds of choices. That's overwhelming because the reality is, because every office is different, no 2 KWs are the same. No 2 RE/MAXs are the same. So there's just so many options out there, and I know it can be overwhelming, which is why I've done this video for you. Now, let's talk about just the different types of brokerages, right? There's small, medium, and large franchises. Your franchises are going to look like your RE/MAX, your Keller Williams, your Coldwell Banker, your Century 21s, ERA, Exit Realty. That's not all of them. That's just to name a few, right? Some of the more common ones. Then you've got your boutique and or independent brokerages. These are usually smaller companies that are owned by a mom and pop shop or, a small group, and maybe perhaps they're hyper local, like they might own 1, 2, or 20 brokerages in an area. You might also see where they dominate a state, or they might dominate a region, but they're not always nationwide. And they, like I said, they tend to be more hyper local. Again, there's a gazillion of those in Tampa Bay and in Florida, so I'm not even going to try to give you some examples. When you research them, it's one of those questions you should ask if you're concerned, questioning, or confused, or just wanting to know. It's another question for you to ask. Then last but not least, we have like nationwide and like corporate owned companies. And these are your big companies that are like EXP, Compass, Fathom, Coldwell Banker, and Sotheby's, owned by NRT, which is like a corporate owned, instead of it being franchised, it's a corporate owned real estate brokerage that is a subsidiary of Realty, which is now known as Anywhere Real Estate. They changed their name in the last 12 months or so from recording this video. So if you're researching them, Realty is one of those really, really, really huge overarching franchise models that owns a bunch of smaller franchise or very large franchises underneath, like Coldwell Banker, ERA, Sotheby's, Century 21, etc. Realty owns them. Realty is now known as Anywhere Real Estate. So I guess I'm supposed to stop saying Realty, but maybe you've heard of it. So, it'll be easier for you to connect those dots. Now, what should you expect from a real estate brokerage? I'm going to give you, my list of things that I think you should expect from a broker or a brokerage, no matter what type of brokerage it is that I just described. Number 1, you should expect education. Every brokerage should provide some sort of education to you. If they don't provide any education, that just means that you will be seeking it out on your own and from other resources, which I'm going to go over some of those resources later in this video. So maybe that's more or less important to you. I'm going to tell you, as a brand new licensee, it should probably be the number 1 most important thing to you when deciding on a brokerage. Number 2, support. A brokerage will provide support. When I say support, they're going to provide a broker that you should be able to ask questions to. Now, is your broker of record going to be, a one-on-one coach, a mentor, and there with you every step of the way? I'm going to tell you, probably not. If they promise to do that, I'd be shocked. And I would question that. And I would ask to talk to other people that they provide that service to, because it's probably not likely. Brokers have a lot on their plate. I am a former broker owner. I own my own RE/MAX. And as much as I wanted to give one-on-one attention to all of my agents, it just wasn't scalable, feasible, or reasonable. So I ended up hiring other people to help support that and creating a different type of environment for them. But providing that support will come in the form of, able to at least answer basic broker questions and or leadership, and kind of giving you guidance and tips on where to go and where to get information. They also provide compliance and oversight. Brokers are responsible for making sure that your paperwork's in order and that they have all the paperwork in their files. So that way, if there's ever an audit by the state or you're ever sued for any reason, there is a collection of all that data and information in one spot. So your broker is going to ask that you give them copies of all of your contracts, all of your documents, emails and communications. They're going to want to make sure that they have access to some of that stuff, because it allows them to defend in case there's ever a problem and or an audit. Next, the brokerage should provide a community of professionals. Whether it's a small boutique brokerage or a very large one, there should be peers and other professionals for you to meet with, network with, and get to know. Whether they're both in office and or locally or across the country. But either way, you should be getting a professional environment with other peers that can, share what they're learning, as well as just be, friends in the business. And that's what I would expect from a brokerage. Another expectation you should have, they're responsible for paying your commission, not necessarily the customer. The money gets paid to the brokerage, and then the brokerage pays you. You should not collect checks directly from your customer. That's not legal. Let me say that again for the people in the back. That's not legal. Okay. Don't collect checks directly from your customer. They need to be made out to the brokerage, and then your brokerage will pay you. All right. A brokerage also, when it comes to your financials, should be offering you, and if they're so inclined, additional revenue streams. I know it, like EXP, for example, they offer us, 4 to 5 different ways to make money, including our personal production via stock, rev share, mentor programs, and teams. So if you are looking for to affiliate with a brokerage that offers other streams of revenue, you should ask about it. Ask them if they offer it. And if they don't, maybe keep exploring your options. And if that's not something that's important to you, then, there's plenty of options for you to consider. Next, you should expect favorable splits from a traditional brokerage. Usually you keep the majority of the money because you're expected to handle all of your expenses, right? So that's pretty typical in most brokerages. They offer less, so they charge you less. Next up, you have referrals and relationships. If I were you and I was joining a brokerage, I would want to affiliate with someone that offered a network for referrals, meaning they had relationships outside their local area so that you could get referrals from other agents, because Florida is a hotspot, y'all. People are moving here from all over the world, and the best way to get connected to them is through other local realtors, or other outside realtors, I should say. So what'll happen is there'll be a real estate professional in Texas who has a brother or a cousin or a client who's moving to Tampa, Florida. And so because we know each other, or because we're part of the same organization, or we have other things in common, like a designation, for example, they will reach out to me, call me and say, hey, Kendall, I have a client who's moving from Texas to Tampa. I'd love for you to take care of them. Will you pay me a referral fee? Absolutely, I will. And then they transfer the client over to me, put us in contact. We service that customer, give them that VIP experience. And when they close that transaction, I send a check, or my brokerage sends a check to their brokerage. And so they get paid, I get paid, and the customer's made happy because they have worked with a professional through a referral of someone that someone they knew. So you want to be at a brokerage that offers referrals and relationships. That is a question I would ask any broker or team that you talk to in the future that you're thinking about joining. And again, if they don't offer anything like that or can't show a proven track record for that, maybe consider someone else. Next up, a brokerage should offer events, both locally, nationally, statewide events. There should be opportunities where you can connect, like I said, with both the staff, your colleagues, your peers with your brokerage. So sometimes a local event could look like a happy hour. It could look like a trivia night. It could look like comedy show. It could look like game night. It could be very, very intimate that way, but it could also be bigger and say, hey, we run mastermind groups with all the top leaders in the city or in the town. It could also be in the form of, hey, we do events where we do trainings for everyone and invite outside people and outside speakers. And so we're constantly offering opportunities for you to learn and again, network and build relationships. It could also be in the form of, hey, we're doing community events. Come join us. We're going to, rehab houses. We're going to clean yards as a group. We're going to, donate to people less fortunate than ourselves. Whatever it is, it could be local. It could also be, regional events where they bring in outside speakers and do really fun stuff and invite people from all over the state of Florida, or national events and conferences where you can go and get outside of your local territory and really, expand your network, meet other people and learn more so you can, as they say, earn more, right? So you definitely want a company that offers events both locally, regionally, and nationally. And again, if they're not doing it, you might want to consider another option. And then last but not least, they offer opportunities for you to give back to the community and or your peers. As you grow in real estate, most of us get into this business because we love helping people. It's just part of our DNA. It's what we want to do. So as you grow and you start helping customers buy and sell houses, you might learn some things and you might learn some really powerful lessons. You might have some really great stories that you want to share with other realtors or other people in the business. Perhaps you want to share some of the mistakes you've made so that other people can grow from it. And perhaps you want to share your story on a bigger stage to consumers. But either way, you should want to affiliate with a company that participates in providing opportunities for you to give back to others. That's just my 2 cents on it. And hopefully if you're anything like me, you would agree and do the same. It's just like I'm giving back to my community right now through this YouTube video. Now let's talk about team benefits, right? What's the difference between a broker and a team? Well, I'm going to tell you, every team is a member of a brokerage, but not all brokerages support teams or have a ton of teams. So teams are this micro brokerage, I'll say, this organization within the organization that has become more popular because they service agents' needs at a much deeper level than most brokerages can afford to do and or desire to do. Most brokerages want to stay a little higher level, a little less control and a little less maintenance, whereas teams are heavier on the support, heavier on the systems and the tools and the technology. And so let's kind of dive into what you should expect from your teams and what are some of those benefits of working on a team. Because you do have that choice to be an independent agent with a brokerage or to become a team member with a team, you have an important decision to make here shortly coming out of this experience after passing that exam. Now, I do want to remind you, like I tell most people, I saw this one quote a while back, and I will tell you this, the beautiful thing in all of this is you are not a tree and you are not stuck. So even as you've made decisions, whether you've already joined a company and maybe you're not happy, it's not meeting your needs, or you haven't decided yet and you're nervous about making the right decision, don't worry about that. Make a decision, experience it. You will learn very quickly within 3 to 6 months if it's the right place for you and if it's meeting your needs and expectations or not. And guess what? If it's not, you have an option and you can leave. You can make a choice and go somewhere else and do something else to support yourself and to build your real estate career. Now, let's talk about the types of teams out there. There's several, and like brokerages, they're all different. They're all independently owned and operated. They come in all shapes and sizes, all versions, and they're just different. So I'm not going to say some are better than others. I'm just going to tell you what I think you should be looking for and or expecting and or asking before you make your decision. So we've got small teams, and typically those are a traditional or, team leader, where you have a team leader who's typically still in production, selling homes, with 1 or 2 staff, maybe a little bit more staff. And maybe they're looking to hire a buyer's agent or another team member to just kind of help support their business because it's become overwhelming for them. And so that's a small team, might be 1, 2, 3 licensed agents on the team, all helping each other to support their business. And when I say small, I don't mean small in terms of their impact in the industry, because there's some really great small, like SEAL level teams that, there's only 4 or 5 of them, but they run very fast and they're very, very good. Those can be really great organizations to be affiliated with. You can learn a lot from them. I just mean small in terms of the number of people on the team. Then we have partner teams. These are typically, just like you think, 2 people, related, unrelated, that work well together, and they're sharing expenses and responsibilities. So you can have, 2 people that are not related at all. They just have decided to be partners. And then oftentimes we see this a lot with spouses, husband and wife, husband and husband, wife and wife, or family style, mother-daughter teams, mother-son teams, father-son teams, etc. So usually it's just 2 or 3 team leaders who have partnered up, and perhaps they could be looking for additional agents to be on their team to help support their business as well. And then you have your mid-size and large teams. So these are teams with like 8 to 10 agents or more. Large teams can be as big as 40 people, 40 agents on the team, 60 agents on the team. I'm even aware of a team, I forgot what state they're in, but they have like 100 agents on their team. So really like a brokerage, to be honest, but with really, strong services, because like I said, the more agents on the team and things like that, typically the more services they provide. And it's just a little more support, like I said, and services than a traditional brokerage. So there's more agents on the team, the larger the team is considered. And I would say there's more staff on these types of teams as well, right? So typically a large team will have several staff members. And I would not recommend joining a large team, like 10 or more agents that have 0 staff. That would be a red flag for me, because at that point, how can they help you service your leads at a high level if there's no staff to help support them? So that's my little thing. Hopefully there's not really any of those out there, but if you are a team with no staff, you should call me, because I'm curious on how you're running at a high level with no staff. I doubt anyone will reach out to me. But anyway, some team leaders and brokers, it's important to note, sell real estate and some don't, right? So it's the difference between a quote unquote competing broker or team leader versus the other argument is a participating broker or team leader. And then there's some of us that don't sell at all anymore. Like myself, I'm not in production anymore. My goal and job is to lead my team and do things like this and coach and educate. I did my years boots on the ground, and this is my new passion now. So this is what I do. And there's some people though that still love selling and they still keep doing it, and that's okay too. There are pros and cons to whatever that team leader or broker is doing. And it's not all necessarily bad for you. So what should you expect from a team and a team leader? Well, the first thing I would say that's different and even more than you would from a broker is the admin or administrative and transaction coordination support. You won't get this at the brokerage level typically without paying for it specifically. So like, for example, RTC will help with paperwork, help gather signatures, making sure T's are crossed and I's are dotted. She's also going to make sure, we communicate well with the customer. We're going to communicate deadlines, communicate responsibilities. We're going to give the customer file updates, and you'll be CC'd along the way. So you also will know. I will say this is really powerful and helpful for those of you that are brand new, because some of those things you're still just learning, and you know it, but it's just helpful because trying to re-communicate that to a customer in multiple ways can be a little burdensome in the beginning stages when you're still trying to figure it all out. So it's a real easy way to reinforce what you've already learned through training with the support of a third party. Next, the second thing I would say is detailed and custom marketing services. Most teams kind of take a little bit more of a forefront on the marketing space, whereas generic, or where brokerages tend to be a lot more generic, like here's our template, go plug in your name, phone number, and email, and then boom, you have a flyer. Well, for teams, we tend to be a little bit more detailed than that, have a little more customization. Like, for example, our marketing coordinator, she creates custom marketing materials, custom made business cards, social media posts, open house flyers, like just all the different in-product tools, or not tools, but in-product marketing materials that we would give to a consumer, like our market analysis, or our marketing presentation for sellers, our buyer consultation package and home buyer guide that we give to home buyers. It's all custom made in-house for us, so that no one else on the planet has anything else that looks just like it, and all the materials custom. So those are ways that you get to just plug right in to a team, because they typically have those things already built and created. So that way you don't have to do it yourself. Next, leads and opportunities. This is one of the number one reasons probably why you will choose to join a team. According to NAR, 87% of real estate professionals quit within the first 5 years. You and I both know people don't quit because they're doing great. They quit because they're struggling, because it's hard. And I'm going to tell you, real estate is not easy. It's not a get rich quick business, but it is a business that is basic, with basic standard principles that once you learn them and you master them and you dig deeper on them, you can go very far and you can create significant wealth in real estate. But it's not that easy to do. And one of the most difficult things to do is generate leads and opportunities. I like to say the word opportunities because I don't like calling people leads, right? I just don't like saying it. Every person represents an opportunity to do business with. And so I use that word instead. So most teams take on the responsibility of that lead generation, but they do expect you as a team member to help convert those leads into customers, right? So that means maybe you're making phone calls, maybe you're doing some other activities that they require you to do, like sending texts and emails, maybe even door knocking, things like that. But they're going to provide tons of opportunities and trainings on how to generate those opportunities, with the expectation that you're going to take action and help them close those customers for a sale. So for example, and I will say lead generation and marketing is very expensive. I know for our team last year alone, which was 2022, we spent over $200,000 on lead generation and marketing. In fact, it actually was probably higher than that. I'm missing some things when I think about it, but it was a lot of money. Do you have $200,000 to spend, waste, invest, right? Because some things you will invest in will turn out to be waste because there won't be an ROI. So part of the beauty of joining a team is the team leader and that organization takes on the risk of those costs and expenses so that you can benefit and get the reward. The next thing I would suggest, number 4, is mentorship, coaching, and accountability. You should expect that from a team. I will tell you, teams tend to be a lot more hands-on because our success is tied to your success, right? So, for example, our team, we do weekly check-ins, we do role play every week, we coach and we train you throughout every single week, trying to help you be better at what you do. So that way you can make as much money as possible in real estate and see as much success as possible, or as much as you desire at the end of the day. Next, number 5, I would expect from a team comprehensive onboarding. This is a lot different in my experience than what you would get at a traditional brokerage. A lot of times when you onboard with a brokerage, basically they have you sign some paperwork, and then they enter you into their system, and then maybe you'll get an email with a checklist, and then off you go. And you have, it's on you and it's your responsibility to get going and complete whatever task and systems that need to be created for you to get started in real estate. But however, with teams, I find from my observation and how we run our own team, your intro into basic real estate sales and the process is done within the first couple of weeks of being on a team. So like, for example, our team, we do a 2-week training as soon as you, we do it once a month. And so when you join the team, you come to our 2-week training. And in those 2 weeks, we teach you, about mindset, how we generate leads, how you speak to those leads, what you need to say, what you need to do, how to have a consultation with a customer. We teach you contracts and negotiation. We'll even teach you how to open a lockbox and, how to do your showings to get people and help people make decisions. And then, of course, we teach you on our systems and our tools, right? So we give you some training there. And then our team specifically, we even do assessments to kind of make sure that you're keeping up and following along, and that when you practice, you're practicing with us in a safe space and not on a live customer. So we have some systems in place just to help protect you and our consumer from, having a difficult a time as it is when you're brand new to do something. So we want to get you in practicing and learning and in a safe space before you go out into the world and start taking what you learn and putting it into action. All right. And the number 6, the next thing I would expect from a team is an intentional tech stack. Good teams have technology, right? To help you be more efficient with your business, and also to protect the customer experience. So for example, our team, we pay for a custom website. We pay for a CRM that's pretty massive and amazing. In fact, I'll name drop it. It's Follow Up Boss. We love it. Our team members love it. Follow Up Boss has a great community, so shout out to them. But that's the CRM that our team pays for. We also have a custom home search app. We also have team communication channels like Slack and Monday to, organize our organization. We also provide, business emails and business phone numbers. We have a team Calendly. We offer templates, action plans, like all of this is done for you so that you can, again, just come in, plug in, and just start to play. Right? And take action on being a great real estate professional. Next, a good team offers growth opportunities. A good team leader is not going to stifle your growth. They're going to let you come in, learn from them, learn the tools of the trade, and then support you as you evolve from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And so that includes personal and professional opportunities and growth, leadership development. Like we offered leadership within our team, for our agents so that they can learn leadership skills, stay connected with their peers. And then again, if they want to grow off of the team and to grow their own team, there's opportunities there for them to succeed as well with our blessing and with our support. Then also there's financial and wealth development and investment opportunities. There will be times where you will want to buy real estate for yourself. The team should support that and be able to help you find opportunities to do that as well. And then last but not least, the last thing I would say is really important to get from a team is culture and community. I always say I don't love that word culture. I prefer the word community because community is choice, and the community you choose says more about you than the culture that you identify with. That's my opinion. But I think it's important to be in a group or with a group of people that you admire, that you respect, that respects you, that is looking out for you. And also they want you to win. And on a good team, that environment should support that, a winning environment, a supportive environment, a kind environment. And in my case, drama-free. I do not do drama on my team. So that is also very comforting as well. And a good team has good core values. I know for us, our core values are, I'll just run through them really quick: learn, master, grow, commit, collaborate, communicate, serve regardless of opportunity. Fun is fundamental. And the last one is own your SHIT, right? Take personal responsibility and be accountable, because we don't have victims on our team, right? So that is what I would be looking for if I were someone looking for a team. Those are some of the things and questions that I would be looking at and asking to make sure that this team that you join is a perfect fit for you. Now that you've selected a team at a brokerage, or you decide to go independent and just be be an independent agent at a brokerage, which is absolutely fine as well. Next, you need to select a board and join your local MLS. Now, when you join a board, that is typically a board of realtors. That is a local organization. Typically, it is around a city or a town or an area. And then you are required to join that board in order to get MLS access, right? And there's lots of MLSs out there. Our primary MLS here in the Tampa Bay market is Stellar MLS. I think they're the third largest MLS in the country. And so lots of parts of Florida are affiliated with Stellar. But, depending on where you are in the state, you will have a local or an MLS that you will want to affiliate with. MLS stands for Multiple Listing Service. This is where real estate professionals house their active listings for sale, and where agents can go to look for listings that are on the market to be sold to their customer base. Now, when you join a board, a local board, you also automatically get added and become a member of the Florida Realtor Organization, as well as the NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors. And it's through that affiliation that we get to use the term realtor or realtor, however you want to pronounce it. I'm not fancy, so I don't care. But just because you get licensed as a real estate licensee, that does not make you a realtor. You have to be affiliated with NAR in order to claim that status. So I would tell you that in order to join the board and the MLS, when you first join, you have a fee to join, like an application fee. And it's also, and I will tell you the way Greater Tampa Realtors runs it, it is prorated. And so our MLS dues renew every May, and our board dues renew every December. So depending on when you join the board during that year, you may pay a full year on the board or the MLS, and a half or a portion of the other, right? So it's prorated. So you'll have to look to their application and they'll tell you what those fees are. I would tell you to budget between $1,000 and $1,500 per year for MLS dues and board dues. Now let's talk about what else you need to know about board dues. Number one, you can't just join any board. You have to join the board where your broker of record is also affiliated. So if your broker of record isn't affiliated at that board, you will not be able to affiliate there. They will need to have a primary board membership, and then you are also able to do a secondary board membership if necessary. And so your broker may be a member of more than one board. You'll need to check with them after you decide to work with them, find out where they're a member, and then you will go and do an application there as well. Your brokerage should be able to support you in getting that application done. Now, I'll tell you, in Tampa, we have a couple of different options. You have Greater Tampa Realtors, which is the largest realtor board in the area. And then we have Pinellas Realtor Organization, that's PRO or PRO, also known as PRO. And that's the second largest organization in our area. Then we have some smaller organizations like West Pasco, East Pasco, and then Central Pasco Association of Realtors, recently merged and affiliated with PRO. So you can still get the support in Central Pasco area, but you would be a member of Pinellas Realtor Organization. So it's really 4 separate ones, and they all are affiliated with Stellar MLS. Now, there is another board local to the Tampa Bay area and MLS, and that's Hernando County. They have their own realtor board and their own MLS separate from Stellar MLS. At the time of recording this video, I'm hopeful one day they will join up with Stellar and we'll just grow that Stellar territory and have one just huge organization that serves all these local communities here. But for now, we have 2 separate ones. So if you're doing business in Hernando County, you're going to typically want to join the Hernando board as well. And that's its own separate fee. I believe they charge $125 a quarter to be a member there. And that includes your board dues and MLS dues at the time of recording this video. Now, In addition to all of that, why you also want to do that is you also want Supra access. Supra is the name of the company that monitors or manages our lockboxes. I don't have a lockbox here with me right now, but I'm going to find a way to put it on the screen somewhere so you can see it. But you need a special device or application on your phone to open those boxes to retrieve the key to open someone's home. Right. So listing agents use these to store the key on the home of any listing out there, any active listing where we're doing active showings. And so buyer's agents will pay for access to be able to open those boxes up and retrieve those keys and put them back after you're done with your showing so that we can show homes. So that's going to also run you about, I would say $100 to $150 a year as well. Okay, so just wanted to give you some insights onto the costs and expenses of like just getting started in real estate, what that looks like for you, and also just kind of explain what each of those things are. And then number 6, I'm going to move forward to the next step for me after you get your real estate license and you join a brokerage and or pick a team and you affiliate with your board and MLS dues is now you've got to figure out all the training. You are going to have access to a lot of training from a lot of different places, and it's going to be a lot. So first, let's start about where you can find training that's just already available at your fingertips, just based on those first 5 steps. First of all, your brokerage should provide training. Hopefully they have in-person training, and perhaps they have online or pre-recorded training. I will tell you that EXP has over 50 hours of live training every single week online, in addition to whatever your local team is doing. Your team also should be providing training if you decide to join a team, both live and pre-recorded. For example, a lot of teams are leveraging tools like CoAssemble, Kajabi, or some sort of LMS or learning management system to effectuate recorded training for their team members. And so ask about that. Ask about where are the resources for training? Is it live? Is it online? Is it pre-recorded? And those literally are 3 different things because you can be live and online at the same time, and you can be online and pre-recorded at the same time. So, you want to know what that looks like so that you know what to expect on where you're going to be getting your training, both primary training and secondary training. I'm also going to tell you your local board of realtors is also going to provide training. Most of the time they have both in-person and online training as well. So that's another resource for you. They'll show you how to use the MLS. They'll show you, how to do a CMA, how to pull up certain types of reports, how to analyze data and statistics. Those are all the code of ethics. Those are all really great classes and trainings for you to do. And you'll definitely want to take advantage of those. In fact, for many boards, there are some trainings that are required. So you'll have to do them no matter what. And then next, your MLS is going to provide training. Typically that's online, but like, for example, Stellar MLS has tons of training for you as well on, how to do certain things, how to understand the MLS. Again, as well as they feature, other leaders and brokers and trainers and teach you different things about being a real estate professional. So you can also go to your MLS to get some training. And then last but not least, you're already here, and that's YouTube. I'll tell you, man, or ladies and gentlemen, there are so many opportunities on YouTube for you to learn. You just have to get creative in your search terms, right? So hopefully you are creative and you found this video here and you were able to get some answers about getting your real estate license in Florida and how that works and all the different steps and the financial piece, and just really kind of get you set up for success so that you know what you need to do in order to get started. And then I do want to give you one little tip on trainings and how to pick trainings, because there's going to be so many. I would say to you that where you should focus is on these 3 things. I know this is what my team focuses on, and that is mindset, skill set, and tool set. Every training you should go to should make you better or teach you something and make you more comfortable in real estate with regard to your mindset, your skill set, and your tool set. And then my last step, number 7, is avoid overwhelm. I know this video might have been a little overwhelming. Hopefully it was helpful and deconstructing some of the overwhelm. But I know it's a lot. It's a little scary because you don't even know what you don't know when it comes to real estate. But that's why you're here. Subscribe to this channel because I'm going to help you figure out all the things. I'm going to help you break them down. I'm going to have special guests. I'm going to do whatever I can to help support you and your growth in real estate and your business, because I want to help our industry be better. Really matters to me to do that. And so I'm committed to you. So maybe you'll commit to me too. All right. But I know there's so much to do. And I know you're wondering, where do you go after steps 1 through 6 of getting your license? And wondering what comes next. Well, let me know in the comments if you like this video and if you'd like for me to make a future video about my top tips for getting started in real estate. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a fantastic day. And congratulations on getting started in real estate. It's a wonderful career. I love it. Most of the people I know that are in it love it, and it's a life-changing experience. So thank you so much and have a great day.